They say it's a good shot. That's
beautiful.
4 runs, isn't it?
Yes.
What a beautiful stroke.
Oh, he's got it through. 4 more for Vessels.
Driving again. Oh, superb
glorious
stuff. What a lovely shot. Oh, lovely shot off the back foot by Hudson.
Oh, bowled him. Beaten for pace, Peter Taylor. Stepped inside it.
Oh, he's bowled him. Clean bowl. Border is out. The South Africans have struck again.
Yes, they look mighty impressive, don't they? And that Donald is quick. In less than 12 hours, the game will be underway. New Zealand, South Africa, head-to-head. 2 of the 3 unbeaten teams in the Benson and Hedges Cricket World Cup. Good evening. Thanks for staying with us on One World of Sport. Today's game across the Tasman between India and Sri Lanka was rained off. And that means they split the points. Hardly a welcome return for either side, but especially for India, who were beaten so convincingly by England first up. Let's look at what's to come tonight on our show. The Kiwis at practice first, weather and pitch conditions as well. We talk to a man who's had so much to do with the return of the South Africans, Dr. Ali Barker. Quick highlights of Pakistan-Zimbabwe, and then more on the big game tomorrow. So One World of Sport on air at 10 tomorrow morning. The game starting at 10:30. The pitch is the same one as for the Australian game. You may have heard it described on the news tonight as rolled mud. We'll see tomorrow. A big day for the Kiwis today at practice as they set themselves for this cliffhanger.
Last Saturday, New Zealand star bowlers were the medium pacers, the ones affectionately known as the dribblings, like Rod Latham and Gavin Larson. In Hamilton, another medium pacer, Chris Harris, starred with 3 wickets. And on tomorrow's barren Eden Park pitch, still with the white ball marks from a week ago, there's no reason to suggest why this trio and specialist medium pacer Willie Watson should not be just as effective again.
I think they're called the probe because they're obviously ripping gloves off and piercing ears and all, causing all sorts of damage to the opposing batters. But I think the one's Dibley, one's Dobley, Larson and Latham, and I think Harris is Wobbly and Watson is Winkley.
And in the South African camp too, there's a healthy respect for what these bowlers might be able to do.
Well, we always obviously worry about bowlers and opposition sides, and we realise what we've got to cope with. We've got to do it on the day tomorrow. The wicket will be slow, and I think the advantage New Zealand hold is the fact that they have got slower medium-paced bowlers than normal, and we do realise that. But our guys have just got to adapt and get stuck in.
It's a sad blow that John Wright will be unable to open the batting for New Zealand because of injury. Who'll take his place, though, was still undecided. Logic would suggest Andrew Jones, who's done the job successfully before in one-day internationals. But another possibility is Mark Greatbatch, who opened for Auckland in Shell Cup cricket many years ago. For the big left-hander, his international career at the crossroads, going in first, might be just the tonic for revival.
Ball for 108. Donald the bowler.
Whoever does open will have to contend with Alan Donald, South Africa's fast bowling sensation. He was dynamic in his second spell in Sydney on Tuesday night.
Bit of tail, knocked over, beautiful delivery, took the leg stump.
And viewed in close-up in the Eden Park nets, he is very, very slippery.
He has bowled very well, and he seems to be one of those guys like Kepler, who rises to the occasion. And he didn't bowl particularly well in his first spell in Sydney, but he came back brilliantly after that and really bowled superbly. But again, you know, to a certain extent, he'll be counteracted by the slowness of the wicket. But he's a bowler who does learn quickly, and I'm sure he will sort out the conditions, you know, once he's bowled a couple of overs and bowl accordingly.
South Africa only needed 3 batsmen against Australia. Kepler, Vessels.
Oh, beautiful shot, magnificently placed. Beautiful timing by Vessels.
Andrew Hudson.
Oh, another beautiful cover drive. Racing away, and that will go to the boundary. Whack into the fence it goes.
And Peter Kirsten. So how might the rest of the batting lineup perform with little recent match play?
It's tough on them, you know, with lack of practice. We've had 2, 3 practice matches washed out. So the guys down the order are struggling really as far as having had a knock in the middle. But before we had our last practice match, everyone seemed in pretty good form. So hopefully they still are.
Meanwhile, in the New Zealand camp, there's a feeling of optimism that was seldom evident only 7 days ago.
It's nice to be winning. It's nice to be on top at this stage, but we're also focusing hard on the next thing, and that's to compete against the South African side. But we are enjoying ourselves a lot more. It's been a topsy-turvy season, and so we're certainly taking on board that that winning feeling is one we don't want to lose.
But you obviously watched the South Africans from Sydney the other night. What were your impressions of them?
Good. I really thought that they were going to be very competitive and very athletic, and they were. They just sort of stopped Australia in their tracks a bit. And the way they batted, they just knew what they had to do, batted around Kepler vessels. So I wasn't surprised so much by the South Africans, but I certainly was by the Australians.
Right, so as far as South Africa is concerned, where do you think is their greatest threat? Their pace bowling attack or their batting?
I think they've got all-round ability. I think they've got a genuine spirit in their side because of the circumstances. They're back in international cricket. You know, it's pretty hard to pinpoint a weakness, but it's a matter of isolating each individual out there and making them feel uncomfortable on conditions that we know very well.
The other evening in Sydney, it was a very, very emotional game for a lot of people, and there was a lot of tension out there, and our guys handled it well. So, and I suppose that game was a little bit different to the rest of the World Cup, because it was like first up. We were playing Australia at Sydney. And from now on, we've just got to carry on working hard. That's just the beginning, we hope, and we're just looking forward to a good game tomorrow, and may the best side win.
Well, it's just been such a big week for cricket. In the first part of the week, everywhere I went, someone wanted to talk to me about the win over Australia. And in the last couple of days, everywhere I go, the talk is of the South Africans. What a great time to be a cricket nut. Still to